When the suit loses control of the dressing room, chaos follows. From touchline explosions to players openly defying orders, football has seen managers snap in ways that changed clubs forever. And sometimes the cameras catch everything. This story matters right now because the modern game is more political, more commercial, and more ego-driven than ever. In Europe's biggest leagues, the power struggle between managers and players is no longer hidden behind dressing room doors. It's public, it's viral, and it's reshaping the sport worldwide. The real reason managers lose their temper. Let's call it what it is. Managers lose their temper for three main reasons: control, pressure, and ego. Control because modern footballers are brands before they are athletes. Pressure because owners demand results yesterday. Ego because when millions are watching, nobody wants to look weak. In Europe's top leagues, the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, and Ligue 1, the tension between tactical authority and superstar influence has exploded more than ever. Supporters are divided. Some say managers must be ruthless generals. Others argue that today's players deserve respect, dialogue, and protection from outdated authoritarian leadership. Let's break down the 10 most shocking manager versus player moments in Europe and why they happened. And if you value fearless, fact-led football storytelling, make sure you subscribe to Final Whistle Files right now. We don't sugarcoat it, we tell it straight. 1. Sir Alex Ferguson versus David Beckham, the boot that shocked football. It was 2003 at Manchester United. After a disappointing result, Ferguson famously kicked a boot in frustration. It struck Beckham above the eye. That wasn't just anger, that was a power statement. Beckham was becoming bigger than the club commercially. Fashion icon, global superstar. Ferguson believed no player should outshine Manchester United. Critics said Ferguson crossed a line physically. Supporters said he defended club authority. Beckham left soon after for Real Madrid. One moment, one boot, end of an era. 2. José Mourinho versus Iker Casillas, captain benched. At Real Madrid, Mourinho did the unthinkable. He dropped club legend and captain Casillas. Why? Mourinho believed loyalty to him mattered more than reputation. He questioned Casillas' influence in the dressing room. Spain was furious. Madridistas were divided. Mourinho's supporters called it discipline. Critics called it ego warfare. Casillas eventually left, Mourinho left, and the club fractured. 3. Antonio Conte versus Diego Costa, the text message exit. At Chelsea, Conte reportedly sent Costa a text, "You are not in my plans." No meeting, no dignity, just a message. Costa went public, chaos followed. Fans accused the club of disrespect. Others said Costa's attitude forced Conte's hand. It ended with Costa returning to Atletico Madrid. The relationship was beyond repair. 4. Pep Guardiola versus Yaya Touré, silent war. At Manchester City, Touré went from midfield powerhouse to bench option. Guardiola valued positional discipline. Touré thrived on physical dominance and freedom. Touré's agent publicly accused Pep of disrespect. Pep stayed calm publicly, but never restored him fully. This was ideology versus personality, tactical revolution versus old-school dominance. 5. Arsène Wenger versus Alexis Sanchez, frustration in public. At Arsenal, cameras caught Sanchez furious after being substituted. Wenger believed in collective harmony. Sanchez wanted urgency and ambition. Fans sided with Sanchez's hunger. Others said no player should publicly undermine a manager. Sanchez left for Manchester United. Wenger's era faded soon after. 6. Thomas Tuchel versus Kylian Mbappé, superstar politics. At Paris Saint-Germain, Tuchel struggled with balancing Mbappe, Neymar, and dressing room power. Reports surfaced of tactical disagreements and frustration over defensive work rate. Tuchel eventually left, Mbappe stayed and gained more influence. Modern football reality. Sometimes the player holds more leverage than the manager. 7. Luis van Gaal versus Victor Valdez. Frozen out. At Manchester United, Van Gaal accused Valdez of refusing to play with the reserve team. Valdez denied wrongdoing. Van Gaal exiled him. Fans criticized the public humiliation. Van Gaal defended club discipline. Another case of authority over reputation. 8. Roberto Mancini versus Mario Balotelli. Training ground explosion. At Manchester City, cameras caught Mancini physically confronting Balotelli during training. Balotelli's talent was undeniable, his discipline was not. Some saw a frustrated mentor, others saw a manager losing emotional control. That image went global. It symbolized the breaking point. 9. Julian Nagelsmann versus Sadio Mane. Dressing room fallout. At Bayern Munich, tensions rose after internal conflicts involving Mane and teammates. Nagelsmann's authority was questioned. Soon after, he was dismissed. Players stay, managers go. That's the harsh math of elite football. 10. Mauricio Pochettino versus Lionel Messi, the substitution that went viral. At PSG, Pochettino substituted Messi in a league match. Messi appeared visibly annoyed, refusing eye contact. It was subtle, but massive. Some said no manager should fear substituting a superstar. Others argued respect matters with icons. Pochettino eventually left. Messi moved on. Why this keeps happening? Football is no longer just sport. It's business, it's politics, it's image management. Managers represent structure. Players represent individual brand power. In the past, managers ruled absolutely. Today, star players have direct lines to owners, sponsors, and even global fan bases numbering in hundreds of millions. The fans are divided worldwide, from Lagos to London, Madrid to Mumbai. Some believe managers must dominate to maintain order. Others believe modern leadership requires emotional intelligence, not intimidation. But here's the truth. When authority collapses publicly, clubs suffer. If you're enjoying this deep dive, comment below. Should managers have total power or should players have more say? And don't forget to subscribe to Final Whistle Files for bold, worldwide football analysis. The political side of the dressing room. Let's speak honestly. Sometimes managers lose temper because they feel undermined by boards. Sometimes players feel scapegoated to protect management. The dressing room becomes a political battlefield. Supporters who hate football politics argue the game has become too corporate. They miss the era when managers like Ferguson ruled with unquestioned dominance. Supporters who embrace modern player empowerment argue that abuse, intimidation, and outdated authority shouldn't exist in today's game. Both sides have points. But when tempers explode publicly, it signals deeper dysfunction. The global impact. These clashes don't just affect one club, they affect sponsorship deals, international fan bases, and transfer markets worldwide. Young players watch these incidents, agents watch them, owners definitely watch them, and increasingly clubs side with commercial value over managerial control. That's why the manager's job in Europe has become the most unstable role in global sport. Managers lose their temper when they feel power slipping. Players react when they feel disrespected. Sometimes the manager is right, sometimes the player is right. But one thing is clear, when ego meets pressure under global spotlight, sparks fly. And as long as football remains the most watched sport on earth, these crazy moments won't stop. This is why we document them. This is why we analyze them. If you want fearless, plain-language football stories from across Europe and around the world, subscribe to Final Whistle Files now. Share this video, join the conversation. Because when the whistle blows, the truth begins.